listeners. Welcome back to the Dethroning Your Inner Critic podcast. I'm Joanna Kleinman, creator of the Mind Method. And today I want to talk about one of the biggest misconceptions in your growth and development. So it is a misconception that actually keeps incredibly high achieving, intelligent people stuck for years. So if you've been listening to this podcast for any length of time, you probably noticed something. I almost never teach strategies for becoming more confident. I don't spend much time teaching people how to think more positively. And I don't spend much time trying to convince you that your circumstances need to change before your life can change. Now, that's because after working with thousands upon thousands of people over the last 30 years, I've discovered something. The obstacle isn't your circumstances. The obstacle is not even your inner critic. The obstacle isn't even your thinking. The obstacle is your relationship to what happens inside of you. And that changes everything. So most people spend their lives trying to feel better. They want less self-doubt. They want more confidence. They want less anxiety. They want less uncertainty. They want less discomfort. And because they believe those feelings are the problem, they spend their life trying to get rid of those feelings. So they overthink and they try to control how life unfolds, and they plan and they seek reassurance and they procrastinate and they avoid and they stay busy and they people please or they overachieve. And it's all in an effort to make those uncomfortable feelings disappear. But here is the problem. Those behaviors don't eliminate discomfort. Instead, they teach your nervous system that discomfort is dangerous. And every time your nervous system learns that discomfort is dangerous, it sends your automatic mind right back into survival. Now, this is why I say over and over again, you are never coaching your thoughts. You're coaching your relationship with your thoughts. You're never coaching your doubt, your fear, your anxiety. You're coaching your relationship to your doubt, your fear, your anxiety. You're never coaching uncertainty. You're coaching your relationship with uncertainty because your life is not created by whether discomfort shows up. Your life is created by what you do the moment discomfort shows up. Now, this is exactly why I created the Mind Method. Because mostly when you are looking at personal and professional growth and development, it teaches people to change their thinking. The Mind Method teaches you to change your relationship with yourself. So let's walk through the steps of the Mind Method. The M step is meet your inner critic. Now, most people at this step, they don't even realize what's happening. They simply become the fear. They become the doubt. They become the anxiety. They become the need to control. So the Mind Method is the first place to create the separation. In the M step, you learn to recognize, oh, my automatic mind is online right now. Now, that tiny moment of awareness, that changes everything. Because awareness creates choice. Now, once you have the awareness, you use the I step, which is to investigate the indication signs. Now, this is where neuroscience becomes incredibly important because this is truly fascinating. Your suffering doesn't actually begin with your thoughts. It begins in your nervous system. So your shoulders tighten, your jaw clenches, your stomach contracts, your breathing changes, your heart races. And this all happens before your mind ever creates a thought. So your body has already entered protection mode. And now your mind creates a story about that nervous system reactivity. That's why I teach people to stop analyzing the story, stop analyzing the thoughts, start listening to your body, because your body is telling you far more about what's happening than your thoughts ever will. So what's fascinating is that most people think the problem is the circumstance, and it isn't. The circumstance simply activates an old emotional memory in your nervous system. And your nervous system has been trying to avoid that emotional memory for decades. So building the business isn't the problem. The big presentation at work is not the problem. That hard conversation isn't the problem. The relationship isn't the problem. Getting the promotion isn't the problem. The circumstances simply awaken an emotional experience your automatic mind has decided is unbearable. Now, that leads us to one of the most important parts of the mind method, which is the N step, neutralize the never-ending message. Now, this is where most people miss the opportunity. So instead of becoming curious, they start arguing with themselves. I shouldn't feel this. I need to calm down. Why am I like this? Why am I reacting this way? This is not acceptable. I'm failing. There's something wrong here. And then suddenly, the suffering isn't coming from the original emotion. It's coming from the resistance to the emotion. Now think about that for a minute. Most of us aren't suffering because we're feeling doubtful, or we lack confidence, or we're afraid of that big meeting tomorrow. We're suffering because we've decided that feeling shouldn't be here. We're not suffering because we're uncertain. We're suffering because we've decided uncertainty means something has gone wrong, or something could be dangerous at some point in the future. That's why I teach that your automatic mind is addicted to certainty. It believes certainty equals safety, but certainty has never created a meaningful life. Think about that. Growth requires uncertainty. Love requires uncertainty. Leadership requires uncertainty. Entrepreneurship requires uncertainty. Parenting certainly requires uncertainty. Every meaningful life requires building a nervous system that can stay present inside uncertainty. So the final step of the mind method is the D step, design your life from your authentic self. Now, your authentic self doesn't need discomfort to disappear before taking action. It simply has a completely different relationship with discomfort. Your authentic self knows, I can feel this and still speak. I can feel this and still lead. I can feel this and still take the steps to build the business. I can feel this and still have the difficult conversation. That is emotional freedom. Notice that's not the absence of discomfort. It is instead the absence of resistance. So here's one of the greatest paradoxes that I've ever discovered. The moment that you stop trying to get rid of discomfort, it begins losing its power over you. And it's not because the discomfort disappears. It's because you're no longer believing that it means you're unsafe. So your nervous system learns something entirely new. I can be with this discomfort. I can survive this. I don't have to merge with this and obey this. So every time you stay present with an emotion that your automatic mind has spent decades avoiding, you are literally rewiring your brain. You are expanding your capacity to embrace and embody discomfort. And that is how you are strengthening your authentic self. You're creating a completely different identity. So this week, I want to leave you with one question. What feeling have you spent your entire life trying not to feel? Is it rejection? Is it failure? Is it not being enough? Is it disappointment? Is it embarrassment? Is it uncertainty or powerlessness? And here's the second question. What if that feeling isn't actually your enemy? What if your relationship with that feeling is the thing that's been limiting your whole life? Because maybe, just maybe, the life you've been trying to create isn't waiting for you to become less fearless. It's waiting for you to become someone who no longer needs fear to disappear before you move. That's the work. That's the mind method. That's how we dethrone our inner critic. Thanks for tuning in today, and I'll see you on the next episode.